Welcome back. So to shed some light on their procedure and what they plan to do next, we've got Ologbodiyan, who is a National Publicity Secretary of the PDP. Good morning, Kola, and thank you for joining us today. Well, first of all, it's a very huge number, over a dozen.
Good morning, Chamberlain.
Over a dozen candidates for the PDP presidential ticket, and many have always thought there was almost no way, if they all were allowed to go for primaries, that you may not just have a huge challenge on your hands as a party. But now that the party is suggesting that they've set up this the BOT set up a committee, I think a 12-man committee, to talk to the 13 candidates to see how they could come to a consensus. What is that about?
Thank you very much, Chamberlain. Foremost, let me clear the air about the fact that we do not have a dilemma concerning our presidential aspirants in the People's Democratic Party. I need to make that clear from the onset. Then, I also will respond to your question concerning the number of presidential aspirants. For us, as a party, it is a very healthy development, and we have no issues, we have no problem concerning the number of presidential aspirants that's in the People's Democratic Party. I say so because we have the opportunity to give Nigerians a right to their freedom to choose who will best govern this nation. And as you know, and as every Nigerians are aware, the kind of governance that we have had under the All Progressives Congress in the last 3.5 years, to say the least, is distressing. And in the circumstance that we have found ourselves, we believe that there is nothing wrong, and we believe that the nation will benefit much more better from the array of presidential aspirants that our party is parading, because you will have the right to choose whom you desire to govern our nation. Having said that, the People's Democratic Party is going to conduct a presidential primary through our national convention. And at the end of it, it will be clear to every Nigerian that what we have done will be clean, will be clear, will be transparent, will be credible, and will be acceptable to majority of Nigerians and the members of our party.
So what then is the function of the, is it the 12-man committee which the PDP BOT set up?
Well, as far as the BOT serves as a conscience of our party, and perhaps in their wisdom, they want to engage the presidential aspirants to see if some of them may want to stand down. That is, by themselves, not forcefully or not through any other method of the party. Because the only method that the party recognizes is the National Convention, which is the highest, which is the supreme organ of our party and the highest decision-making organ of the party. It is at that National Convention that will organize, that will conduct our presidential primary. But if the aspirants on their own submit themselves to a discussion that is not within the confine of our party constitution and the guideline that has been established by the party, it is not our responsibility as a party to stop them from doing that. But what the party knows and what the National Working Committee, under the able leadership of Prince Uche Secondus, is working on is a presidential primary that will be free, that will be fair, that will be credible, that will be clean, that will be clear, and that will be very transparent, and that will be acceptable to majority of Nigerians.
Okay, so let me try and understand what you say. Are you suggesting or saying categorically that, number one, the 12-man committee that the BOT has set up, the candidates or the aspirants rather do not necessarily or are not mandated to appear before that committee, because you say if they submit themselves. So it means they can choose to submit themselves or not, but ultimately they'll have to go for the primaries. Is that right?
Every aspirant on the platform of the People's Democratic Party is aware that he or she is going to contest in a primary election. Any other organ of the party who seeks to devise persuasion, engagement, or other forms that are not known to the election, which the National Convention or the State Congress or the Local Government Congress or the Senatorial Congress or the Federal Constituency Congress is going to conduct, is doing so at its own desire. It doesn't mean that the BOT cannot call aspirants together and say, look, why don't you step down for each other? That's not the point we are making. But the point we are making, I want to make it vehemently, is that every aspirant that has picked our form will have the opportunity to participate in the primary election.
But Kola, if you say this is not a dilemma, why is it then that the PDP, the BOT is setting up a 12-man committee to see how they could whittle down or get a consensus candidate, or set up a 12-man committee that they don't have to submit themselves to and still go for primaries? It already looks as if you have a huge challenge on your hands.
Like I said from the onset, Chamberlain, we have no dilemma, we have no challenge. We are going to conduct a presidential primary that will be adjudged by majority of Nigerians as the best in our political history. And I say so because under the leadership of Prince Uche Secondus, we conducted the primary election in Ekiti State, where we have a sitting governor, and the party ensures strict adherence to the rules of our guidelines and to the provisions of our constitution. We also did that in Osun State, where the margin of vote between the winner and the first runner-up was less than 10 because of the credibility of the process. And I'm reassuring you, and through you, I'm reassuring Nigerians that the feat that we achieved in Ekiti, the feat that we achieved in Osun, will also be carried out in our presidential primary. And Nigerians will see through it that the People's Democratic Party, under the able leadership of Prince Uche Secondus, has truly turned a new leaf, and there's no imposition of candidates, and there's no more impunity in our own party. And we are not going to force people through high cost of forms or through intimidation and other means to chase out would-be aspirants or people who have picked form and forcing them not to contest in order to achieve a sole presidential candidate. We are not going to do that in the People's Democratic Party. We are going to allow for a free process where Nigerians who are members of our party and who have been elected as delegates or who are structural delegates in line with the party's provisions will be able to express their freedom of voting for their preferred candidate.